Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today what we are going to do is we are going to check the shotgun 650 and some of my observations that I'll share with you. Some of the negatives, or you can say observation, not negatives. Every bike has some positive and negative. So here we'll focus on seeing that what a typical rider would face, the challenges. Since I own the Hunter 350, so some of the things are common from this motorcycle and that one, and that I will explain, like what issue the users can face and how it is better than that, or like if you are planning to upgrade to the 650cc right now, so is this a good option? Okay, so here if you see, the stance or the sitting posture of this is very similar to not the super meteor, but it is very similar to classic 350. Yeah, the old classic 350, because the stance is very upright. When I went into check the showroom to check the stance, it was very similar. It reminded me of the classic 350. Now this color, right, I was searching in the net for this color because this color is not yet in the showrooms. In the showrooms you see the top of the line color, which is white, which is very good. You have the stencil white here, there is a white, but this one is a stealth kind of like a sheet metal gray. It is looking amazing. I mean, if you don't want to be very loud in the traffic, you see the plasma blue or the olive, they stand out. You can see from a distance, but this one, this color is, I am liking this color more. This is the base variant, and it is almost like 15,000 cheaper than the top variant, which is the black one. Okay, so what they have done is they have just put the white paint here, and the rest of the color is, I think it's little bit bluish, but this is a little bit grayish. Okay, so you can see the color is everywhere, right in the front mudguard, the rear mudguard, and I think also on the front, what you can say, cowl. Okay, now you have an extra black cowl here that is part of the accessory. Okay, so we will cover some of the points. Of color is one of the points, so I would definitely say I would go for this base variant, but it looks very simple and very classy. Okay, so that's about the color. Okay, next thing, we'll touch base upon the ground clearance. Okay, now you see that the ground clearance is just 140 mm. Okay, the Hunter has a ground clearance of 150 mm. What it means is the silencer, right? Now you see the distance from the ground to the silencer. This is the vulnerable part when you scrape on any speed breaker. Usually it is not affecting this engine. Okay, engine is very well above the ground. Okay, it must be around 200 centimeters above the ground. But what touches the ground clearance, what we mean by ground clearance, is the silencer, the lowest part of the silencer, that the distance of that from the ground. So in my Hunter, if I am too up and if I brake, there is a big breaker, okay, exceptionally big breaker, and I brake also, the front brake is activated, then the bike's a little bit, the shock ups are pressed and then it scrapes. But you don't need to worry, because these silencers are made of very high grade metal. Okay, and they are bolted to the cylinder as well as the chassis in a very good manner. Because the reason I'm saying is, in Hunter, I have scraped around 4 to 5 times heavily. I thought that there might be a damage or a crack, but nothing happened. I can, in my channel, if you see, there is a video for that. It's just a scratch on the downside, not even it is not doing any damage. It's just the paint damage that will happen, which anyway, that is the muddy portion below, so it won't affect that much. And it did not even burst the silencer or change the alignment or anything. So don't worry about it. 140 mm is very good. What you have to take care is, when you get a big breaker or something, you reduce the speed and release the front brake, because when you release the front brake, the suspensions go back. Okay, so that is the other thing which I wanted to say. Now here RE offers a sump guard. Okay, now that sump guard, and here you can see this round one is the oil filter. Now when you put the sump guard, its sole purpose mostly will be to prevent the mud or muck that flows from here, splashes, because the mudguard is till this point, so this whole area gets splashed if you go in any water area or muddy area. So that will prevent the splash or the mud in this engine area. So I would recommend, based on your color choice, whether you want a silver or a black one, you can have a good sump guard installed here. Okay, now moving on to the next. So here there is an oil filter. Okay, in 350cc there is no oil filter here, so you have to put the sump guard to protect this area from the mud and the muck. Okay, now next, let's find out the next point which I said. So ground clearance is done, SAM card is done. Now the other thing I wanted to say is the rear suspension. Now you see the rear suspension, there is this damper and this spring. Now what happens here is the damper, you can see, is very long. Okay, so the actual travel this suspension can do is very small. Okay, you can check the specification. Many people tell you about the specification, that how much is the travel, but this is very less. Now you see, this is a kind of like bobberish motorcycle. Bobber means, have you seen the Arnold movie? It's like a cruiser bobber, in which the rear end is very low on the ground. The overall motorcycle is also very low, but the rear end is also very low. It almost like the rear wheel is also very short and very fat. So what will happen is, like in some of the models of Harley, like Fat Boy and all, they are also very low. They have a suspension here below. So what will happen is their travel is very low, and that suits their country, America, where there are no speed breakers at all. Even if there are speed breakers, it will be like a triangle shape like this, so that you have a lot of time to judge it, and properly you can save your bumpers. So the car bumpers or the bike below, you cannot scrape that easily. So but here in India, like you see, we all know that sometimes suddenly some bump comes, or suddenly an undilution come, which might result in a very jarring effect on the rider. So here what happens is, and many people, and this is taken from Super Meteor as well. So what will happen is, what solution that I get is, when you sit here, right, so already you have some weight. The bike is also very heavy, so this spring is already having some pressure on it. Now what will happen is, if you are sitting too up, it will again put more pressure on the spring. So it is called an initial sag. So the spring will not work that effectively when you get a bump or something. So what some people have suggested, like Teacher Thailand, he's a YouTuber. He always does some experiment. What he did is, he moved the setting of this suspension 2 points stiffer, 3 or 2 points stiffer. You can check one by one. So what I did in my Hunter is, I also did the 2 point stiffer suspension, and it improved the ride very much. So the initial sag is negated. So what will happen is, you have a lot of activated suspension spring travel. So that soaks the bumps effectively than before. So right now I am riding my Hunter in 2 points more stiffer, that is the mid-bore. So this one also you can do and check. What I got is from that YouTuber is that he got very improved what you can say suspension travel in his Super Meteor, because initial sag, when you sit and there is an initial sag, the pressure that is negated or reduced. Okay, so this is the third point which I wanted to say about the suspension. Okay, so whenever you buy, if you're going to buy, you definitely try by stiffening it up 2 or 3 points. It doesn't mean that you will have stiffer ride, but it can also mean that you will have a more comfortable ride. Okay, now the other thing which I wanted to tell is the foot pegs. Okay, now let's see. So if you see the foot pegs here, right, the foot pegs that is there here, they are not very good quality. Okay, I will show you. See this foot peg, right, this foot peg here, this is same as that of the Hunter only. It is not from the Bullet 350 or Interceptor or Classic or somewhere. So this is the lowest quality foot peg that Ari has put here. Is kind of like cost cutting, which I don't like. Okay, frankly, I do have that on my Hunter, and if you are not wearing good proper hard sole shoes, while riding, which we recommend, then you might face issues in your foot if you are riding for long distances. If you are just wearing Crocs or a sandal, this small piece of what you can say rubber and metal foot peg, it is not that effective, and you can start having pain on the foot also, which I faced. So now what I have done is I have put a more fatter rubber on that we used to have old bullets, and then I am traveling on the right side. Left side is fine, right side when you hit the brakes, right? So that is one other thing. Okay, so brakes is also done. Sorry, foot pegs is done. Now next thing which I wanted to check is the tank capacity. Now see the tank here, right? It's almost the same tank as a Hunter 350, which is around 13.5 liters or 13.8 liters. So if when reserve comes, you have 4 liters in reserve, so almost like 9.5 liters is your actual capacity above reserve if you reduce the 4 liters. So what happens is in my Hunter it's almost like 300 to 330 kilometers I can do until it from reserve to reserve. Now here if you see that if its mileage is average is like 20, if you say highway is 23 24, at city is like 18 to 20, so 20 if we can say that 20 is the average mileage that this gives, then this tank would give you effectively a range of only 200 kilometers. Now for me, like who travel almost 60 kilometers a day, every third or fourth day I have to fill the tank. Okay, so that is it. Now you see here the suspension is so low, as this rider is doing, is somewhere in South America, he's doing this. Okay, so he's a very well built rider, and yeah, the seating geometry is just like classic. Okay, the legs that you see how upright he's sitting, the hands I have also seen by sitting, it's proper comfortable, very good design. Though it is very, very simple, there is no rocket science, it's very simple design. You see peanut tank here, simple, but still the good thing about Royal Enfield is they do something little bit different in their models. Now see, this is gloss. In my bike that is powder coated. Powder coated is very good, but glossy is something new. So I like this color very much. Okay, and definitely if I book, I will always think whether this one or the top and white one. These two are making me crazy, these two colors. So I would say I would buy any of these two. Now the other thing which some people will ask is I have to open a video in which I can show you some the grab rail of this one. Okay, so let's open a video, okay, in which we can see the grab rail. Okay, now I will tell you what is the problem with this grab rail. Okay, now you see here what is happening. So this looks a little bit cluttered. Okay, now if you see Hunter's grab rail, it's much cleaner. There is a the mudguard is there, then there is a split grab rail on the Hunter, which looks very classy and very it's also very effective in the sense it's very useful. How, I will tell you. So what will happen is in the Hunter, you see there is a grab rail here, okay, and there is a lady sari guard here. Okay, so what will happen is you can easily hang the bag here and the bag will not go inside because there is a sari guard here. Now here in this model I have seen that there is a sari guard and which has a handle to put it on center stand also. But the thing is, this is a US video, so they are not showing you that. I will show you one video in which I will show you one photo in which you have that here. Okay, yeah, this one. Okay, so I don't need to go in front of the bike. I've already went. You can see my video on my channel, that we can do. So here is Rohit Paratkar from Overdrive. What he's checking, what he's doing is comparing the two motorcycles, that is the Kawasaki and this one. So here I will show you. So there is a sari guard. Okay, there is a sari guard here. Okay, so this sari guard, it prevents anything that is hanging to go inside the wheel, which is very good. So if this motorcycle had a split guard rail, it would have been very good. Also, since this is a very fast picking up motorcycle, it's very, the speed builds up very fast. So you need a rear, what you can say, the rear backrest also is very much needed in this one. Okay, because the speed is very high. Now you see the other architecture, the exposed wire and all. See, this is one thing wherein you cannot do anything much. It looks odd, I know that. The fit finish, which some people call it is there in Enfield, but functionality wise I think they are very good. Okay, now the other thing I wanted to tell, one negative about this one is the kind of exhaust that they have. Okay, why I'm saying an exhaust, why is there a problem in this exhaust? So you see the rear exhaust goes out to the very end, and also it is taking a lot of space. Okay, I'll show you what I'm saying. So here you see this, he's explaining, and yeah, exactly at this point. Okay, now you see this distance is too much, okay, at the rear. So what happens is when you try to move the bike, right, in the traffic, first problem what will have is the people who are, if you are in neck to neck traffic, there are some people who are standing next to, near to you, there is a chance that these will get scrapped on the side. So when the hunter silencer is very short, it is till this point only. So I have never seen somebody hitting on my silencer, and it sounds more than this. I'm not sure about the throttle, how much this engine sounds. The sound of this engine is a little bit muffled. Okay, until unless you put a aftermarket loud exhaust, you will not feel that that strong bullet thump, or that sound which it makes. Otherwise it's a very meeky motor. In the interceptor it will pass by, you will not even listen. Only if you rev it hard, then you will listen. But that is not the case with Hunter's exhaust is very much bassy, and if you rev it hard, then everybody listens around the 5 meter radius. So that's what. So this is a drawback. If they would have kept a smaller, shorter exhaust, it would have been practically very good, okay, in traffic, in Indian city traffic, and functionality wise also, you don't need to care about this much width while maneuvering in the traffic. Okay, so that is one other thing. Another thing which I observed yesterday is that the rear disc is much better. It is a little bit bigger, and it has two piston calipers, means it has almost like double the stopping power of what you get in a 350cc. Okay, and that should be there because this is 240 kgs, you are going at a very high speed. Imagine the mass that is having, the brakes have to work on it. So at this price point, okay, what RE has to offer is obviously, super bikes have a very different costlier brakes for safety, but I think what RE has done a very good job. I think I checked the video by Faisal Khan. The brakes are pretty good. Now here, competitor. Okay, it's not, you can say, a competitor, but you see the Kawasaki is also good, but not that good. You mean it's like an X440. They have the trellis frame, there is a certain clutter here, then the exhaust pipe comes out. It is not to my taste. It is not like a retro this thing. Okay, this is same like Avenger. The looks are very much like our Avenger or the earlier Eliminator. It's down, okay, but I think suspension wise Japanese are better, quality wise they're a bit better, but looks wise, no, sorry, quality is a subjective thing. Now quality, the difference in quality can be easily caught up over a years, and I think RE has caught up with that. They have learned from the mistakes. Their bikes are also very good quality. Yeah, the chain issue, there was a chain issue earlier in the Super Meteor, which everybody says that the chains, sprocket is it's wearing down, and they have to replace it. But you see, ultimately it depends on model to model, and I think RE has replaced it, and that will get carried over to this as well. So what I would suggest, wait for 2-3 months, wait for the user reviews, actual user reviews to come, not the YouTubers or any other reviewers. The actual user reviews, they will tell you that whether this chain issue, sprocket issue has got resolved or not. Okay, so this is another point. Now last point, do you consider anything else? Do you want to wait for any other 650cc? The other 650cc that is nearly getting launched is the classic 350. Okay, sorry, the classic 650. Okay, now I would show you why it is very similar. Okay, classic 650. Okay, let's see the classic 650 spy images. Okay, where is that? Yeah, this one. Okay, so our own Bullet Guru sir has put this. So what we will do, we will see. So this is how, you don't need to go to the showroom. You can go and check, but most of the analysis you can do here. Okay, how I'll tell you. Okay, now you see this. design. Okay, it is very similar. This is exactly similar to the shotgun. What is the difference here is they have put the spoke wheel. The front is like a typical bullet. The tank might be changed or the mudguard may be changed, but overall if you see the geometry, the stance, everything, even the seats, okay, they're exactly similar to the shotgun. So if you want, and this will have a little bit less price because there are spokes in this one, okay, for frankly, so they will put it a little bit less. And if you want to have the classic avatar of the 650, then obviously you can go for it, okay. You can wait for it, then it will be a little bit less pricey than the shotgun. Okay, for people like me, I personally like that bobber kind of, not the old bullet design. I like the little bit neo retro kind of design, so that's why I will go for shotgun. That's why I have gone for hunter, even though hunter is the cheapest. People say that it is cheapest, we will not go, but the reason why I went with hunter is because I like the bike because of its looks, its stance, it's the engine. So anyway, why I'm telling always hunter is that, from my perspective, since I ride the Enfield every day, okay, I have ridden the Thunderbird also, so from that perspective I'm saying that as a current owner of RE, what I am considering is a good value for me, what will make me happy. So that's what is my only intention. Now here if you see, everything is very similar. They have put a sump guard here to check. Here also you see so much of splashing comes, and this is becomes a hell to clean, okay. If it is polished black, it is very good, okay. And now this particular what you say, the crash guard is very good. I checked it out, the chassis and this one has the same finish. There are some sparkling elements in the black, and it looks like, matte black. It looks like a fiber, it's made of fiber, but it's not. It's very, this has been designed to bear the brunt. If the bike falls, it will totally take the impact. So I would say, and here is that handle wherein you want to put it on the main stand. Now main stand putting is very easy on this one, because there is so much weight and there is the distance is short, so it's like science, the physics. You pull this bike back, it will easily come, it's like even easier than putting a hunter, or even easier than putting a simple Vespa scooter on stand, the Honda Activa on stand. It is so simple to put on main stand, the shotgun. Okay guys, thank you so much for listening to me and my talking. Thank you, and so do subscribe to my channel for more updates on Enfields and their new launches and my analysis. Thank you.